A night in Sydney carried a tension that could be felt in the air, a rhythm in the crowd that grew louder with each passing moment. Over 10,000 fans poured into the arena, each voice adding to the electric buzz that only a prize fight can summon. The lights dimmed, music thundered, and the stage belonged to two men from opposite ends of the boxing world. First to make the long walk under the lights was Takeshi Inoue, the pride of Japan. Built like granite, unflinching and relentless, he entered with his guard already high, his chin tucked, his mind set on one thing, pushing forward until his opponent broke. A warrior's warrior, he was known for his toughness, a man who had never been knocked out, never been broken, no matter the storm that came his way. Then, the roar swelled. The Australian crowd erupted as their man emerged, Tim Tszyu, the Soul Taker. Draped in the weight of legacy, the son of the legendary Kostya Tszyu, Tim carried not just the burden of his name, but the hunger to carve his own path. Each step to the ring was deliberate, each glance toward the crowd a silent promise. Tonight, another chapter would be written. The referee gave final instructions. Two warriors stared across the squared circle. One relentless in pressure, the other sharp, measured, and dangerous. The bell rang. The stage was no longer the crowd's, it belonged to them. The first rounds revealed the clash of styles that defined this battle. Inoue wasted no time marching forward, gloves tight against his head, daring Tszyu to trade leather. He fired off hooks and jabs, pushing Tim back toward the ropes, hoping to smother him under pressure. But Tszyu was unmoved. Every shove against his guard, every advance from the Japanese challenger, was met with a cold calculation. He snapped a jab through the middle, a hook around the gloves, a right hand that cracked like a whip, and when Inoue charged, Tim's counter landed to the body, thudding shots that echoed like drums across the arena. The crowd responded to every exchange, gasping as Inoue charged in, roaring when Tszyu's precision found its mark. Early on, it became clear this would not be a quick night. Inoue was iron-willed, absorbing punishment and returning fire with his own. Tszyu, disciplined and sharp, chose his moments carefully, never rushing, always punishing the body, waiting for the storm to fade. With every jab, with every hook downstairs, Tszyu was chiseling away at the granite before him. Inoue's toughness was undeniable, but toughness alone doesn't win fights. And already, Tszyu's strategy was unfolding like a slow, suffocating tide. By the third and fourth rounds, the rhythm of the fight had set in. Inoue was still pressing forward, but now his face carried the marks of Tszyu's accuracy. The Australian ripped uppercuts through the guard, mixed hooks to the head and body, and stepped to the side before Inoue could answer. But the Japanese warrior refused to break. He fired back in bunches, unloading combinations on the inside. The crowd cheered as both men exchanged, the ring shaking under the violence of their clash. Still, there was a difference. Tszyu's punches were landing cleaner, sharper, and heavier. Inoue's were brave, but they lacked the same sting. One sequence saw Tszyu rip 4 unanswered shots. Hook, uppercut, right hand, body shot, forcing Inoue backward, if only for a moment. That moment told the story. Tszyu was taking control. The uppercut became a weapon of destruction, threading the needle between Inoue's tight guard. Every time Inoue ducked forward, the punch was waiting for him. Yet, Inoue answered with bursts of his own, proving his reputation for grit was no myth. The Japanese fighter landed thudding rights, forcing Tszyu to stay disciplined. The fans knew this was no walkover. Tszyu would need more than skill. He would need patience, persistence, and perhaps his full arsenal to put a dent in his granite-chinned foe. The middle rounds loomed, and with them, the true test of will. Round after round, Tszyu began digging deeper into his strategy. If Inoue's chin was made of stone, then his body would become the target. Tim hammered hooks downstairs, left and right, sinking leather into ribs with punishing precision. Each thud drew a grimace from the crowd, as if they could feel the blows themselves. Inoue still marched forward, his guard high, but every body shot slowed him. Every hook downstairs drained the engine that fueled his relentless pressure. By round 5, the difference was visible. His punches still came, but their sharpness was fading. His footwork dragged, his breathing heavier. Tszyu smelled the shift. He pressed harder, doubling the jab, ripping right hands behind it, following with another hook to the body. The arena roared as Inoue retreated for the first time, forced back by sheer force of will and precise punishment. But true to his warrior's heart, Inoue refused to crumble. He fired back with hooks of his own, catching Tszyu with clean rights that momentarily snapped the Australian's head back. Yet Tszyu never panicked. Each time he was touched, he returned fire with heavier artillery. The Soul Taker was taking piece by piece, not in haste, but with ruthless patience. By now, it was clear, this fight wasn't just about skill or power. It was about who could endure the storm longest. The later rounds became a showcase of Tszyu's discipline and Inoue's unbreakable spirit. Tim circled, stalked, and picked his moments while Inoue, blood trickling from his mouth, kept walking through fire. Round after round, Tszyu's right hand pierced the guard. His uppercuts snapped Inoue's head back. His hooks dug into the ribs, taking away what little energy the Japanese fighter had left. And then, in the 10th, the breakthrough, a clean right hand sent Inoue staggering. And for the first time, down to the canvas. The crowd exploded. The noise rattled the rafters as the unthinkable happened. Takeshi Inoue, the Iron Warrior who had never been knocked down, was on the floor. He rose, as proud fighters always do, but the moment had spoken. Tszyu had not just landed punches, he had shaken a man once thought unshakable. Still, Inoue fought on, determined to see the final bell. Each exchange drew gasps and cheers, the audience torn between admiration for the challenger's bravery and awe at the precision of Tszyu's assault. The Australian had proven his dominance, but the Japanese fighter had proven his soul. The final bell rang, and both men raised their gloves, one in triumph, the other in defiance. The crowd stood as the two warriors embraced, blood, sweat, and respect binding them in a language only fighters understand. The scorecards told the inevitable truth: 120 to 107, 119 to 108, 120 to 107. A unanimous decision. Tim Tszyu, the Soul Taker, had delivered another masterclass. He had outboxed, outfought, and outlasted a man known for his indestructibility. But this fight was more than numbers on a card. It was a message. To the super welterweight division, to champions abroad, to critics who still doubted him, Tszyu showed he was ready. Ready for Castano, ready for world titles, ready to carve his own legacy. And for Takeshi Inoue, though he left without victory, he left with respect. He walked through fire and never broke, never surrendered. In Sydney that night, he became part of the story, the granite warrior who tested the Soul Taker. As the lights dimmed and the crowd filed out, one truth lingered in the air. Tim Tszyu was no longer just the son of a legend. He was a force of his own, a man chasing greatness with every jab, every hook, every punishing body shot. The journey continued, but this chapter was clear. Tim Tszyu, victorious, dominant, and relentless. The Soul Taker marches on.